we're here.
And we're
Is
live.
that accurate? I don't know if we are. I don't think we are. I don't think we're here at all. I think we're not here. We're in another space and time entirely.
Does anybody really know what
Proper.
time?
You have to use proper.
Yes, it's either 25 or 26 to 4.
You have to use proper FAA terminology.
Fuck all this.
No, you remember that from back in with the when we used to do the intro would end and there'd be a little clip from something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Use proper FAA terminology. Land a goddamn plane.
Air Force proud 95.
Air Force proud. God, he's so funny. He's my favorite one is when he was arguing with that same group of people. When he had the land the goddamn plane incident, he was just all like, he was asking him again, do you please use proper FAA terminology when referring to airways?
Yeah.
Right? He was like, cloud paths. Nope.
Was that
skipping
the one
on them clouds?
Was that the one that the guy went space shuttle right next to him and then landed on top of him?
Oh no, that was the going to the moon. The guy just goes going to the moon, and you just see this like it's like a Cessna like 127 just being like, and coming back down. Wow.
I don't know what happened, but that space shuttle that hot air balloon just went space shuttle.
Oh no, we got a hot air balloon coming in on short final, 9 right. Hot air balloon, do a vertical. There it is. The hot air balloon just went space shuttle status. Or there was the other one where they were in the F-18s. And the F-18s were going vertical. They were like, the one guy was like, okay, we're gonna pull vertical here in a minute. And he was like, we're already at like 10,000 feet. This is such a good idea. We're over speeding it. Okay, I guess we're just going up. And as he's going up, you just see hot air balloon. He's like, there's a hot air balloon doing the vertical with us. And they got up to like, it's so ridiculous, like 20,000 feet in the game.
Yeah, Dan, I'll tell you right now. If you look, write it down. Air Force proud 95. Start watching. You start watching his videos. You've lost 2 hours before you know what you did.
They're funny. Basically what he does is he plays Flight Simulator, but he plays Flight Simulator with other people in public. And he has some videos where he's literally flying planes, or some videos where, and this is important, he's playing Flight Simulator like for real, like with people that are really taking it seriously. It's something called VATSIM, which I'm guessing is a server in Flight Simulator where it's super serious, you guys. And he still makes jokes along the way. It's pretty funny, but it's actually really cool to see, like, this is what proper flying of one of these planes would be like. And it's pretty neat. But, like, I think the best videos are when he's just in a public server with other people and he's doing air traffic controller. When he's air traffic controller, it is the funniest thing ever because people will start messing with him just to mess with him. They'll do it on purpose too. And it's so funny. And he has just the best reactions to stuff. The way he talks is so funny.
Yeah. And people go, are you Air Force proud 95? Got no clue who you're talking about.
Oh, my favorite one is somebody is like, aren't you a YouTuber? You're like Air Proud 95 or something. It's like, no, I'll get that, because he doesn't actually talk with a southern accent. He goes, no, man, I get that a lot though. Some people think I'm confused like some other YouTuber or something, and somebody else jumps on mic is just like, the person you're thinking of is Ground Pound 69. And at the end of that video, he's just like, hey everybody, Ground Pound 69 here.
Skunk.
And then they had the Air China guy. They had the Air China. Some kid kept saying he was with Air China, and at the end of the video, it's like, "Hey, everybody, Air China 95 here."
Skunk, I meant to say this during the show, but with Lewis on here, but I'm going to ask you. I just saw a movie that had Charlize Theron, Peter Scolari, Rita Wilson, Clint Howard, Kevin Pollak, and Bryan Cranston in bit parts. Do you know what it was?
No.
It's one of the big stars was Tom Hanks.
Apollo 13.
No.
Wow. Okay. Now I got to think about this for a minute. Tom Hanks
and Dragons movie?
No.
You're thinking of Mazes and Monsters, but
Yeah.
no. That would have been before Clint Howard's time.
No. Clint Howard was old Star Trek.
Okay, Clint Howard did a lot of stuff before that, but
He did Andy Griffith's show.
Ron Howard. It would have been a Ron Howard movie if it had Tom Hanks in it and Clint Howard was playing a bit part. Scarlett Johansson as well.
Apollo 13?
No, Charlize Theron.
Or Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
And I already said Apollo 13. Said it wasn't it.
And Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
Kevin Pollak. You know who Kevin Pollak is.
Oh, yeah. No, I know who Kevin Pollak is.
And Peter Scolari. Do you know who he is?
No, that was the name that's throwing me off. I don't know who Peter Scolari is.
Bosom Buddies.
Oh man,
Is that the show?
Dude, I'm too young.
That was the name of the show. Yeah.
I'm too young. I know the show. I know the show Bosom Buddies. I don't know who he played in Bosom Buddies because I never. It was like I said, that was before my time. That was a show from the 70s.
He was the straight man.
Yeah.
That doesn't help. I never actually watched it.
Okay.
Have you
ever
talk
heard
about it on that 70s show? That's as much as I know about that show. I know it existed. I know the show. I just don't know anybody on it or anything like that.
Well, it was a movie based in the 1960s, written and directed by Tom Hanks.
Written and directed by Hanks.
Yes.
Not Ron Howard.
Not Ron Howard. And probably has one of the most catchiest soundtracks.
Catch Me If You Can?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not Catch Me If You Can.
When was it made?
Mid-90s.
Okay.
But
it was 60s themed in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
That would be, I mean, the only thing I think of, Forrest Gump?
No.
Not Forrest Gump.
That Thing You Do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Never actually saw that one.
Technically, you're correct about Tom Hanks having a major role in that movie. However, he's not the star. Because the drummer kid is the star. He's
But he was a major character in the movie.
He's a major character in the movie. He's the record producer. It's a really good film.
It is.
I like that film. That's a good movie.
And it falls under the rock and roll curse of movies. You know that, don't you?
What now?
It falls under the rock and roll curse of movies.
I don't know what that means.
Means that fictional rock and roll movies never are box office hits. They become cult classics.
Yeah.
Like
like Eddie and the Cruisers, Streets of Fire.
Oh, Streets of Fire is one of Audrey's
What about
favorite.
Pink Floyd's The Wall?
What?
What about Pink Floyd's The Wall?
It never made a box office hit. It was almost a box office flop.
The one that I was thinking of was Airheads. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bounce, actually, because I do have to work in the morning. I normally try to stay up, but I do have to work in the morning. They reset my schedule again. I'm on a different route. And also, tomorrow's a big day, and I want to get my day over as soon as possible because I have a lot of stuff to do before tomorrow afternoon when I get off work.
We're still live, John.
I know.
Tomorrow, Joe moves in officially.
Okay.
So it's going to be a big day. So I want to make sure that I get off work early for that. So I'm going to go ahead and get to bed, or at least I'm going to make sure to get to work on time. On top of that, I'm pretty like 900% certain that when I go into work tomorrow, nobody is going to be unloading the truck. So I'll have to unload the truck at 5:30 in the morning per usual. So there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and go that way when I get to work in the morning.
All right.
No, hey, awesome show tonight. So glad to talk to Brandy. That was
no kidding.
It was fantastic to get to see her. I know everybody in the call knew who Brandy was except for Lewis. And he'll just have to learn. He'll just have to come join the rest of us and learn.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And thank you, Skunk, for the help today.
Hey, no problem, man. You know, dude, I'm literally down the street from you now. Anytime you need help, you can call me up, okay? As long as I'm not at work or, you know, entertaining company, which is a euphemism.
Yeah. We know.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Hey, guys.
Good night.
All right. Dan, I'm sorry, but I made ground chicken sloppy joes. Spicy sloppy joes.
I don't have smell-o-vision. It's not going to affect me.
Be glad, because that was rough.
Hey, it didn't come out on the audio because Skunk was still talking. Yeah. So,
well, long story short, they don't taste that good on the second round.
I did a homemade beef stroganoff.
Ever since that joke in grade school, I can't eat beef stroganoff anymore.
Hey. I believe I know that joke.
I put the white cream in it personally.
Okay, that's the exact reason I don't eat it no more.
It was Laura Lynn sour cream, though.
I really hate this brand new light bulb. It's too orange.
Good night, everybody.
Did you even hear that, or were you playing the video while I was talking?
I hit it about time you said it, but yeah, I heard you say you don't like the orange light bulb.
It's a brand new 150 watt LED, and it's orange. It's not white.
Ooh.
The 75 watt that I took out was much whiter.
Now, actually, something that I found crazy is I had an LED strip at one time, but the LEDs burned out. The orange or yellow light actually makes a better light than the white light.
Well, I can see more, but the colors are off.
Yeah.
I can see more in the room that used to be darker because it is brighter, but the color balance is really just messing with my head.
That is a 40-watt LED bulb right now. That's all that's lighting this whole room and my laptop screen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually about my skin tone right now. But whenever I turn on all the lights through the green screen, I look like a Cherokee Indian.
Oh, I do got some good news. Talked to, Donna had a doctor's appointment today and everything's going great there.
Okay.
But we have been approved by the doctor to get our rabies shots. The required rabies shots that everybody's trying to get right now.
Okay.
I don't want to say, what it is.
Yes, I gathered that.
Yeah.
But then again, knowing you.
As many chihuahuas as you got and that big mark on your arm, a rabies shot might be a good idea.
Yeah, really. The whole series.
No, actually, at one time, I did get a rabies shot.
Wasn't that standard for a while that everybody had to get them?
No, we were taken to get our dogs vaccinated, and I had to hold her mouth, And right as the doctor went to jab, he was going to do jab and push at the same time. And I got half of a rabies dose because the dog pulled away and he nailed me right in the palm of my hand. And the look on his face was, oh fuck, I'm about to lose everything I own.
Wait a minute. It was tetanus shots we used to have to get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he nabbed me right in the right there, right in the meat of that. It's like, ow. He goes, you can see his eyes get that big around. And he goes, are you okay? I said, yeah, you poked me. I said, is this going to kill me? He goes, no, it ain't going to kill you. You'll be fine. We need you to sign these papers. What do these papers say?
These papers say you ain't going to sue me.
You won't turn into a werewolf and bite people. Okay.
Yes, but it's now safe to walk him on a leash.
Yeah.
Joe
But
can go to the
basically,
dog park now.
yeah. But yeah, that's. I mean, you could see him like. I said, if it ain't gonna kill me, I'll be okay. It was an accident. But yeah, we had to fill out paperwork to the health department and all that.
Should have just looked him in the eye and said, you're going to have to buy me flowers and take me out to dinner the next time.
And come to find out, he was the vet that's always on the morning news.
Oh, the one that has a bad reputation?
No, he's the one that all the morning news channels go to for pet stuff.
Yeah, the Humane Society is giving away this dog for free, you know.
And it's got a picture of Joe.
Barky is an 8-month-old pit bull that needs a good home.
But yeah, the doctor told us, get on the list and get you appointments. Your whole house qualifies.
Well, Lindsay just found out they changed the law here this week. So as of Monday, we are now eligibles. And I'm going, okay, don't make an appointment for Monday. I have to be at work. If we can't get it on a weekend, I had to take a vacation day.
John hit the wrong button.
He'll hit the right one soon enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna try to find, the first thing, and my son goes, I get to take the COVID shot? And I said, yeah, you're probably going to get 2 of them. Donna goes, oh, hell no, I'll just die. Nope. Hi, John.
Wrong button.
We figured.
I was trying to bring Facebook back up.
I had 2 computers do a Windows update today, and the laptop that I'm using right now, it was like, you've been trying to load that update for 2 hours. What are you doing? Playing Parcheesi? And so I go, 22%, 22%. Then it jumped to 45%. I'm going, there were some numbers in between that I would love to have seen. It finally did it, but, what do I know what it actually did? I'm looking forward to trying out the new box and seeing whether or not it actually keeps me from picket fencing when I'm talking.
All right, I'm just checking some stuff real quick.
Yes, I knew I was boring you to tears.
No, I keep getting notifications that I've got email. And if you don't go ahead and clear them out, it just keeps sending you notifications.
Mm. Well, I have learned to turn off the web browser on the desktop and the email and turn off the iPad. The laptop is the only thing running except for Lindsay's BritBox or whatever it is she watches through the Roku. And she's gone to bed, so my signal should be everything that the phone company lets me have.
Yeah.
Which is probably still pretty pitiful.
Well, I'm looking forward to them making the Starlink mobiles again. Because when they do, we're going to start broadcasting live launches from different locations at the same time. John will be running the command center, and then we'll be sending. Yeah. Well, John will be mission control, and me and Heather and Lewis will be out on locations all around the country.
Glad you got the budget for that.
Well, I ain't got the budget, but we'll figure it out.
I'm at the point to where I'm glad they don't charge me postage for email.
If it gets any slower, we will. Or they will. I got somebody in there. Is that you, John?
Possibly.
Oh, okay. Oh, but yeah, we will be doing an upgrade on my Grillzilla to having a Blackstone flat top. Along with the ability to cook, I think that thing can cook 60 or 80 hamburgers at a time.
Well, that would come in handy for the convention, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Especially when you have hamburgers and hot dogs on Friday night. Oh, it's Lewis. Hey, Lewis. We're talking about possibilities of using Starlink to broadcast. You know, get 3 Starlink setups, have Lewis have one set up in one spot, me have set up in another spot, and Heather set up somewhere else, and running cameras and all that, and broadcasting live from launch sites. And also talking about the redesign of Grillzilla.
John, I know that's supposed to be mission control, but right now it looks like missing control.
I turned off all my lights, so green screen ain't working with the damn.
Yeah, your normal image degraded when you turned off your lights too. Just a hair. I mean, it didn't go fuzzy or anything like the green screen did. It just kind of went. This is not the proper focus that you're used to.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I got to step away for a minute too.
I think Joe was telling a joke.
I'm back.
Yeah.
What?
I thought about that the other day at work. I'm going, oh, everybody's always playing these green screen tricks. Why don't I do a screen capture with the green screen going and me sitting here,
and then go to bed,
and then get up and walk off and leave the still photograph going like I'd gone to sleep. And y'all could play your air raid sirens and anything to your heart's content, and I'd just be sitting here with behind the green screen going, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh, Carl did that one time.
Oh, he did?
But yes. he played a loop. He was able to play a loop of of him sitting there, and then he got up and damn near scared the hell out of Donna.
All right. I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back if I can get the blessed thing to. There we go.
All right. So what's been going on, John? We noticed you've been missing. You just been asleep?
No, I wasn't feeling good. I didn't want to inflict my misery on the show. So,
Okay. Well, I'm miserable every time I'm here, so you don't. I almost caught you with a mouthful, didn't I?
almost.
Oh.
But here's something you might be interested in.
Yeah.
You remember a few years back when they were testing the old F1 engines from the Apollo missions?
I think.
And they redesigned it so that it would use a lot fewer parts. And they actually came up with like a 3D printed version of the new style F1. I don't know if they actually made it, but they
were working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were working on it. Anyway, eventually they went with the space shuttle engines.
RS-25s.
The RS-25s for the new SLS system.
Yeah.
They are reworking, and this is kind of funny, the SR-71 engines on the old reconnaissance the Blackbird airplane.
Yeah.
And apparently they figured out a way to 3D print cooling into the engine the housing, I guess. They can 3D print this into the engine housing so that it cools the housing internally. And they think they can get about 20% more thrust out of the new engines. So they're actually talking about building an SR-72, which is going to be an unmanned drone that is capable, they say it'll be able to Mach 5 and fire hypersonic missiles that can move better in Mach 5. Now the question is, how are they going to control it? Is it going to be satellite controlled? But they're talking about maybe it might have an AI on board with missiles that can do Mach 5 or better.
That's a little scary.
Ain't that how Terminator and the Skynet thing started? Kind of,
Yeah. Okay. Now let's not talk about that anymore.
Why? You're afraid Skynet will shut down your stupid o'clock show?
Maybe. That or they want to talk to you.
So I can show you the YouTube. Oh, hey, I can show you. Well, I can't show you now because we're live. But what was the guy's name? Darn it, he does a lot of YouTube aviation stuff. Hang on a minute. Let's see if I can find it again.
Oh, and Lewis, since you tuned out before I was talking about it, we were talking about a good movie, and it was sort of centered around a drummer called, it had Tom Hanks in it, called That Thing You Do. And I was naming off some of the bit part co-stars, like Charlize Theron, Peter Scolari, Rita Wilson, Clint Howard, Kevin Pollak, and a newcomer named Bryan Cranston. And the neat thing about it is Bryan Cranston played astronaut Gus Grissom. And there's Dan.
Yes.
And Lewis says, yes, I've seen it. Yeah, I watched it the other night on YouTube. Free YouTube. I forgot how good a movie that was. That's actually, it's nothing like The Real Record Business, but still, it was a good movie. The music was good. And me and John were talking about them possibly redesigning the SR-71 to be an unmanned drone capable of Mach 5 and arm it.
Let me throw that up there real quick. Wait, instead of putting it here, I'll put it over on Stupid O'Clock. Or did I already? I can't remember. You know, I hate it when I forget whether or not I did something. I know I meant to.
I say that all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that, Lewis. Lewis is saying Tom Hanks's production company is called Playtone, which is the name of the record company that he was the producer for in the movie.
Oh, and I'm not sure what the guy's name is, but his YouTube channel is called Mega Projects. And if
is he the one talking
he's
about
the one that did the show?
Now,
Simon something.
Now you were talking about the F1, John?
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos went and recovered the engine section of a Saturn V rocket, found it on the bottom of the ocean and recovered it. Of course, NASA immediately goes, "That's ours." They started pulling the numbers off of it. Guess which engine section it was for?
13.
11.
Really? They found the first one.
They found the first stage. Jeff Bezos recovered the first stage of Apollo 11. All 5 F1 engines. Of course, they were
in a museum somewhere.
One of them is in the Smithsonian. One of them is at Kennedy. The other one's at Houston.
One of them ought to be in Huntsville, so I can afford to drive there.
Yeah, and the other 2, which are the best 2, were being dissected to figure out how they did it.
Oh, yeah.
And come to find out, no 2 engines were the same.
No, they were all hand built.
Hand built and hand tweaked.
Very steampunk.
Yeah.
No 2 parts match.
Well, you could look at them and go, yeah, they look the same, but something was just a little different.
The tolerances were off just a hair, maybe a 2,000th of an inch here and a 1,000th of an inch there.
Yeah, John found it.
Ooh.
That's an F1 pulled off the bottom of the ocean. Where'd you find that?
Wikipedia.
He lifted a crab and looked under it.
I was riding in a submersible with Jeff Bezos the other day, and I just happened to take that picture.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Jeff Bezos is throwing so much money that he's doing more building than he is testing. He's doing all his testing on a computer. That's what's getting Elon's attention is Elon is doing public testing. Is that Mr. VB?
That is Werner von Braun, and one of the first stages for the Saturn. Just a little rocket he was working on.
A little bottle rocket, yeah.
Those engines were massive.
Yes. You know, I really wish they had built a Sea Dragon. Yes.
They're building a Sea Dragon. It's going to be called Starship.
No. There's actually a company, though, that is going to build a launch vehicle that launches like the Sea Dragon did. It's just smaller. The idea is you could tow it anywhere in the world and launch it out of an ocean. You know.
Yeah, the design of the Sea Dragon is awesome, Dan. Imagine a rocket, and instead of putting it on a barge, they just roll it into a dry dock, flood the dry dock, and float it. You know, float it horizontal. Then as they fuel it, it goes vertical. And then they ignite the engines underwater.
And the entire ocean is your launch pad.
Exactly. Robert Truex designed it, and he was the guy that designed the Polaris missile for the U.S. Navy. And he was working down at NASA on this thing, and the idea was to build a low-cost, heavy launch vehicle called the Big Dumb Booster. And it's Space Dragon. But the idea was it didn't have to have the complicated gimbal systems and pumps and all that sort of stuff like that. The whole thing was pressure fed. You would build it.
A big gantry or anything either.
No gantry. You build it in a submarine shipyard. And you launch it and everything's done in the shipyard, and you launch it like a submarine, and it gets towed out to where you're going to launch it from. And they were going to use a nuclear aircraft carrier to power an electrolysis system that would take seawater and separate it into hydrogen and oxygen. Mm-hmm. That was how they were going to fuel it on site. Okay. And they tow it out there, and there's a cap over the tail fin. I need a rocket. This gets to be my rocket. They tow it out there, and there's a cap over the tail fin. Well, they fill the cap full of water, basically. And, of course, the rocket sinks to a certain depth in the water. Mm-hmm. Then they fuel it, as they fuel it and such. And once it's ready to go, when they fire it, it blows that cap off and launches out of the water, uses the water. But this thing was 4 times larger than a Saturn V.
Yeah, I can see why they'd want to launch it out in the middle of the ocean.
It could put 1 million pounds in space.
Oh, one shot.
In one shot. But the problem was this rocket motor was so loud and created so much thrust, you couldn't have launched it anywhere near Cape Canaveral because it would have burst everyone's eardrums and destroyed the infrastructure. It would have destroyed the launch pads and everything. So they had one.
Yeah. You saw what Lewis said. You saw what Lewis said, didn't you?
Houston, we have a problem. Okay. We're out of beer. Anyway. There was what was it? For All Mankind?
Yeah.
That was how they put the moon base up, was on a Sea Dragon, and they actually did a great job showing that Sea Dragon launch. They even had the Enterprise in the background.
Yeah.
That in the Truex diagram of how they were going to fuel it, used a picture of the aircraft carrier Enterprise using its nuclear reactors to fuel the thing.
I didn't think it was the one from Star Trek. No.
Yeah.
Well, technically it was.
Have you been watching the new episodes of For All Mankind?
I have not.
It's first season was good. This one, they're really struggling with the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the Cold War, I mean, we're getting up to almost 1989 and the Cold War is still raging. And it's fixing to go.
Yeah, and the space race never ended in the series.
Oh, that's the one where the Russians beat us to the moon.
Yes.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Not having television service has really put a damper on some of my conversations.
Dan, you're gonna have to get a Fire Stick, and I'm gonna have to show you a few tricks so you could see some of these shows.
We got Roku.
I know that's the problem. I don't know how to make that happen on a
He
Roku.
doesn't speak Roku.
I don't speak Roku.
It's pretty much the same as a Fire Stick, just a different company. And the reason that we don't have more stuff than what we do on the Roku is because Lindsay doesn't want to spend the money. And neither do I. I mean, why did we have the satellite dish turned off if we're going to spend twice as much on every rinky-dink streaming channel that comes along? I mean, there are lots of things that I would love to watch, but I'm not buying an entire service for one show.
Yeah. Oh, there's John. Yeah, that's the Sea Dragon versus the Saturn.
That's Big Mama Jama there.
That's just a slightly bigger rocket. Yeah.
Look at the engine. It was one engine. Look at the engine bell.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
Well, it was one main engine. Those little fin things up top are the maneuvering engines. Those are the ones that aim it. So
now look up the original Orion, not this
Orion. You mean the nuclear powered job?
Mm-hmm. Not this imposter they're trying to foist off on the public now, but the real deal. The one that was an ecological disaster waiting to happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that nuclear powered. Yeah.
Oh, but we would have had the entire solar system by now if they went ahead and done it.
Oh yeah. Well, what freaked everybody out was
we could always use North Korea as a launch pad.
Yeah, everybody freaks out over the word nuclear.
Now that's the reason why everybody's paying out the wazoo for electricity now.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when we talk about electricity, if we went to just say half our automotive fleet in the United States to electric, that'd be almost 100 million plug-in vehicles. To supply just that demand, you would have to add almost 50 nuclear plants, 2 reactor nuclear plants across the country just to meet the demand for the electric vehicles.
I have absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah. And this is
you can build one in my backyard if you want to.
Do you know nuclear is carbon zero?
Yeah, I do. I grew up near. Dad used to work at Oak Ridge.
At Oak Ridge, yeah, you know. But people don't. You say the word nuclear, and one stupid Jane Fonda movie. Wasn't she in China Syndrome?
Her and the younger Douglas kid. Michael Douglas and Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
And Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young with the no nukes movement. What a bunch of great music, not a lot of common sense. That might even be controversial, even after all this time. I don't know.
Now, do you know how many people have died from nuclear accidents in the last 50 years?
Accidents?
Yeah.
3. 5? Okay.
5.
I missed a couple.
Do you know how many? Well, you know where most of those were? Chernobyl.
Yeah, well, there's always the guy that stuck his head inside the The big loop, not the one over in Europe, but the one that was supposed to be in Texas. I forget which. Got curious, opened an access hatch, stuck his head inside while they were doing particle acceleration.
Didn't become
die.
a superhero.
No, he didn't become a superhero, and he didn't die. He just got real sick.
Mm. Well, do you know how many in the coal mining industry?
Including my grandfather? Several million.
Well, in the last 50 years.
Yeah, well, I was going for 100, but
about 11,000.
11,000. Well, is that just black lung, or is that cave-ins and everything else?
All of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's much less than I had anticipated.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, black lung killed my grandfather. He'd been a coal miner since 1900 or thereabouts. He lived to be about 87 years old. And
if he made it to 87, would black lung be a cause of death?
It's either that or Granny just slapped him upside the head with a frying pan because he gets smarted off one too many times.
Oh yeah. Now I could believe that. I'm going to tell you, there have been many cast iron deaths.
I love that one joke. Police responding to a shots fired call at people's house. They go, yeah, apparently the woman inside the house got mad because her husband walked across the kitchen floor while she was mopping it. So she shot him. Well, have you arrested the woman? Says, not yet. The floor's still wet.
Oh, now I
those
like
are my people.
Now I was telling y'all that I used to rebuild the old rotary dial phones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a flea market here in town called Monster Flea Market. Mm-hmm. They were out on Lee Highway. Used to be an old Target store to give you an idea of the size of it.
Yeah.
Well, I had a booth out there, and I sold a lot of antique stuff. And I had one of the old, what they call the, I think it was an automated electric A40. Had one of the police officers come by and look at it, picked it up, picked up the receiver, slapped himself on the hand. He goes, I'll bet you there were many a domestic situation solved with one of these.
Just out of curiosity, what was the flea market across the road from? I think it was a Comfort Inn that
Eastridge Flea Market.
Okay, yeah. That was a pretty neat place. It wasn't really huge, but it was pretty neat.
Until it turned into the Chinese mini mart. Everything was the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was all mail order catalog stuff.
Yeah. Of course, I did love the Chinese dollar boxes.
Somebody's computer went ping. It wasn't one of mine.
I think that was mine. That was my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, computer, phone, what's the difference?
Oh, Uber wants me to get $12 off my next order.
Well, next time you need to order an Uber, tell them to come out when you're having trouble with the car and jump you off. Or the big yellow truck or whatever.
That's why I've got the big yellow truck. There have been times that the big yellow truck has started the little red car.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was the silver car at the time. I have an inverter in it. When we'd go camping, I would plug my refrigerator in as we, I had a little dorm fridge we'd take camping. I'd put it
Yeah.
in the car and plug it into the inverter. Well, one time I forgot to start the car.
That ran the battery down a little bit
Real
sooner
quick.
than expected.
Yeah. And I was trying to figure out how am I going to get this thing boosted off. And I'm sitting here, calling people, hey, can you come over and boost me off? No, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. Finally, I called my dad and he goes, hey, don't you have another truck? Don't you have a truck sitting there in the yard? I said, yeah. He goes, is the battery dead on it too? I'll talk to you. I'll call you when we get back from camping.
Your dad is a very perceptive fellow.
Yeah. Hey, Bill,
Bill.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. You have a good night. Hopefully you don't have dreams like I do.
Where injuries happen. See you tomorrow night at the green room, Bill.
And I think he's already cut out, but yeah.
Probably so, but.
Yeah, again, guys, I don't know how that happened. I dreamed I was working on a car. My arm got hung down in the engine. I knocked the hood down on top of me. And when the hood was on top of me and I was panicking, it woke me up. When I woke up, I was bleeding.
Like I said, I've woken up with injuries I did not have when I went to bed, and there was nothing, no dreams or no traumatic actions or anything else. And I haven't the faintest idea. I'm not even going to claim that I was walking in alternate universes while I was asleep.
No, I've had dreams before that, it woke me up because it was such a pain that something happened, and well, if Skunk was here, he knows what I mean. I was wrestling and I juiced myself, and I woke up with a claw mark across my forehead where I've scratched it with my thumb.
Okay, now I understand what you're talking about.
Juicing's where they take the little razor blade, cut your forehead. This little part right here. I mean, you scratch and bleed like you're a stuck hog.
Yeah, I know. I had to have stitches across my forehead when I got hit in the head with a shovel.
I don't want to
know. It was an accident.
That's their story, and they're sticking to it.
Dad and I were shoveling soybeans into the dump truck from storage inside the barn, and I got out of rhythm, and I got a steel grain scoop right across the middle of my forehead. I was using the aluminum one. He was using the steel one because he's 100 pounds heavier than I am, a foot taller, and Anyway, we got to the hospital to get stitches, and the doctor goes, "What happened?" My mom says, "His daddy caught him bending over picking flowers when he should have been working." That didn't go over too well, and this was before the age of any injury that happens to a child is automatically abuse.
Yeah.
But what was really funny was when the doctor went to give me my stitches and sew up the cut in my forehead, he started complaining about I was absolutely blunting his sharpest needle. And Dad goes, "Yeah, well, he's got a hard head."
And with that, Dan admitting to having a hard head,
Oh, I'm proud of that one.
And we got to say goodnight, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back Thursday night at 11 with Stupid O'Clock. And
this is Thursday night. We'll be back Saturday night.
Saturday with Stupid O'Clock at 11, and the after show at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.